Like,
All right, all right, all right. Good evening, Mzansi and football lovers across the globe. This is Let's Argue, where the only thing stronger than opinions is the data backing them up. And this weekend gave us everything. Well, Pirates lifting another trophy, Chiefs dominating but failing to score, Arsenal punched in the face late by Villa at Villa Park, and Real Madrid doing what Real Madrid do is bring people to the Bernabeu and give them great hospitality and send them home with 3 points. And then Bayern. Well, Bayern, PSG, Leipzig are handing out 5 and 6 like it's a school tournament. Harry Kane with another hat trick. They should call him Hat Trick Kane. So tonight, with me, as always, the professor of patterns, the doctor of defensive lines, Timo.
yeah, sure, Tigo Lava Ultra. Tonight, some of the managers are going to get cooked, others are definitely going to get boiled. And in a few, some will be actually burning with the whole plot. We're going into structure, systems, and that's where it's all falling apart. Welcome to Let's Argue.
And the man who brings the XG and the PPDA and the win rate and the form charts and the human opta feed. We call him Roy.
Shosho Bagenge, Olam Zansi, yeah, near. Feelings would say one thing, but stats says another. And tonight we are siding with the stats. Let's get to work, man.
All right, we start with the Colin KO Cup. Final Pirates took on Gallants. Basically, the previous coach of Gallants was facing the current coach of Gallants. Orlando Pirates took it 1-0. It's the second trophy of the season, one off a Gallants defensive lapse. It was a long game. I thought it was going to penalties, but let's start off at Loftus. At the Carling Cup final, Orlando Pirates, second piece of silverware this season, another cup final, another medal, but this one wasn't tiki-taka. It wasn't even poetry. It was a punishment for one moment of defensive sleep from Gallants. One switch off, one trophy. That's elite mentality. Right, Roy?
Yeah, that's true. And numbers don't lie, Numbers and form, they go hand in hand. So just to give it context, Pirates have now won 2 trophies this season, which is fairly good. The league is also in their grasp. They reached at least the semis in every domestic cup, which is a very, very good thing for them. I'm very happy for the Pirates. I like it for the Pirates. And in the last 10 matches in all competitions, they kept 6 clean sheets, I might say, and only conceded 7 goals. And if you look at that, that is quite good. Um, in this final, Pirates basically had a 56% possession and they had 11 shots, of which 4 of them were on target. The goal XG was around 1.2, while Gallant's goal XG was at 0.7. Gallants actually defended well. They had long spells on the ball. It's just that they allowed 4 shots on target in that cup final. I might add and say that there was a bit of disorganization. It did actually cost them, but they played a good game. The high line was too high. There was no tracking, running in between those spaces. And yeah, the keeper got caught in between. What more can I say?
Yeah, gentlemen, I think first things first, we should just say congratulations to the Sea Robbers. Congratulations to Orlando Pirates. For
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
if we just talk about this coach, right? This final says a lot about this coach as a, can I say, cup specialist? Is it too soon to call him a cup specialist? He doesn't need to play beautiful football, gents. He needs
Sure.
them to go out there, control the game, get the result. Pirates
Yeah.
pressed in waves after wave after wave. Mid block
Yeah.
most of the time, then the high press after the turnovers, and of course when the restarts would come through. Listen, Gallants, they did their very best, to stay compact with their 4-2-3-1 system. And when they were in maybe defensive phases, it would change to a 4-5-1 off the ball. And it definitely worked, to a certain extent, until, of course, the concentration maybe dipped. And that's when the Pirates, they struck. The key tactical failings for me, I don't know about you guys, but I think when the fullbacks stepped up, the center backs didn't, make the correct shift. And the defensive midfielders, I don't know, man, they didn't drop. I don't know if there was a lack of cohesion there or lack of communication between these three players not acting as a defensive unit. All in all, Orlando Pirates, they showed the champions mentality. They stayed in the game, and even though they were not fluid, again, they did everything that they needed to. And two things that we need to take account of, gents. They punish mistakes, number one, and they do not panic when the game gets ugly. Cheers, sir.
All right, so Pirates clinical, ruthless, serial in cups, gallants, competitive, organized, but learned a harsh lesson of knockout football. You can't switch off even once. Well, when we get into the PSL, we start off with Chiefs taking on TS Galaxy, from a cup final to a frustration for the Chiefs fans. As we know, when Pirates win somewhere, they say pain hits directly at Naturena. So TS Galaxy and Chiefs shared the spoils, a game where Chiefs dominated so much, but probably still have the ball. I'm telling you, I'm sure even right now, Chiefs still have the ball wherever they are, but they walked away with only 1 point because the strikers couldn't keep it in. Right, Roy?
Yeah, it's true. Based on stats, form, and the pressure that they actually absorbed, looking at the profile of this match, Chiefs had around 60 to 62% in possession. They had 17 shots, but only had 5 on target. If you look at that conversion, it is a bit of a worry for me. Galaxy, on the other hand, they had 7 shots, of which 2 of those 7 was on target. That came mostly from transitions. And also, just to add, in their last 5 league matches, this is Chiefs, they had 2 wins, they had 2 draws, they had 1 loss. Goals scored, they had 5. Goals conceded, they had 3. So defensively, I think they tightened up a bit, but then there's still room for improvement. But in 4 of their last 7 games, actually, they only scored 1 or fewer goals. That's where the alarm bells are actually ringing. I think for me, they need to score more goals, but defensively, they need to cover up as well. I don't know. What do you think about it, Thibaut?
Yeah, gents, you know what? For me, I think it was unfortunate for Kaiser Chiefs not to get more out of this game, because from a tactical standpoint, I think Kaiser Chiefs did a lot of things correctly. Between both boxes, there's good rotation out wide on the flanks. The full backs were also overlapping, pressing up high. The midfielders did their best to control the second balls in the middle of the pitch, and the front three, they made decent runs, minus them being clinical, of course. But in the final third, I think, yeah, they were too slow, I think, to release the ball, or to play the final pass, or maybe to take that final shot. There wasn't, I think, enough supporting runners, or maybe a supporting cast for the guys maybe in the near post. And there were too many shots from low value zones from outside the box. I don't think any of those guys have the calves the size of Roberto Carlos, but they were taking shots from outside the box. So it was a little strange on that regard. TX Galaxy on their end, they kept it compact with the 4-4-2 block. There are 2 banks of 4. They tightened up the distances between the lines, and they were forcing Kaiser Chiefs out wide, and they were forcing them actually to trust their goalkeeper, to handle the long balls from the crosses that were coming out wide. So yes, Kaiser Chiefs, they dominated their possession, but domination without a final product is just possession for the match report card, like watching Barcelona play or something.
Oh, but watching Barcelona play is a great thing. Why would you complain? But hey, if you're a Chiefs fan and not a hater like Thibaut, you're thinking, you know what? We're playing better. We're not collapsing. But where is that proper line? Where is that ruthless finisher? It's progress, I know, but it's not yet convincing, because we want goals. We want goals. Yes, defenders are defending, but goals are needed. And then if we move into the EPL, where quite a lot of tears will happen right now in this conversation. First of all, we start with Thibaut's favorite team, who said they're winning the league. They're winning the league.
Champions elect.
Champion mentality. Yeah, Arsenal is my English team. They're winning the league. Well, we're going to start off right here and say, in Birmingham, Aston Villa 2, Arsenal won. The league leaders punched in stoppage time, like a big, you know what, one of those punches you get in the UFC that knock you out same time.
Yeah.
You know this guy that does this after he hits you. You know what's his name? You know his
Israel
name?
Adesanya
Eh? No, 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 not Adesanya. The other one from Brazil who did it after he beat Adesanya. El
Silva.
Capitano. Capitano. You see, but anyway, what I want to say is Buendia at the death, and the title race just opened like a fresh wound. And we know when it happens like this, Pep's team know how to get that wound bleeding. Roy.
Yeah, and here, just to add on to that, so Aston Villa basically dominated that game. They thrashed Arsenal. I don't know if you guys can remember, but this is not the first time that this is happening. I don't know if you can remember, but this is not the first time that this is happening. But anyway, moving on to stats and form, Arsenal came into that game. They are first on the log. They still are. It's just the points that they actually dropped that is a bit bad. They have the best defense in that league. They have the fewest goals conceded. They're unbeaten in 9 games up until that game. So also in this match, Arsenal had a 57 ball possession, and then Villa had 43% shots. Arsenal had 15, which they only had 5 on targets. Also a poor conversion. Villa also had 11 with 4 on target. The goal XG was pretty even, more or less the same. Arsenal had around 1.6 goal xG, of which Villa had 1.5, which is fairly almost even. I might say, Villa under their coach right now, they have won 4 of their last 5 league games at home, which is a good thing for them. Unai Emery really transformed their team, and if you look at where they started in the beginning of this season, they were right at the bottom. They have scored 2+ goals in 4 of those 5 matches. They are one of the best home sides in the league this season. They proved to be a very, very tough opponent.
Yeah, just now, this is where game management comes into play. Arsenal led the league not just because of their quality, but because of their structure. In this game, late on, the distances between the midfield and defense they grew. The fullbacks were far too high simultaneously. They tried to chase the game instead of securing the draw. Now, I think in games before this particular one, we always maybe lambasted. Mikel Arteta for actually not trying to go for the kill. But in this particular guys, they actually did that and it backfired. Listen,
Mm.
Unai Emery deserves major credit, gents. The double pivot in the middle of the pitch, screening Martin Odegaard's zone, that worked out perfectly. The wingers, they tucked in to clog the central lanes. And then later on in the game, he brought on the creators to work in between the lines to try and get the team up the pitch and attack the spaces. And listen, all in all, it translated into a late winner by Emmanuel Buendina.
India.
And the winner is a product of bravery, gentlemen. Aston Villa kept committing bodies forward even late on in the game, even against a top table side like Arsenal. And I think with that said, there is a chink in the armor, in the Arsenal armor.
No, you're right, bro. Arsenal are still big favorites because obviously they still look like they have the more stable team. However, the aura of invincibility, I think it's gone for the week, depending what they do in the Champions League and what they do when they come back to a league match. Roy, what happened there with the world champions?
I'm sure one day is very disappointed. So Chelsea faced Bournemouth. Bournemouth was at home. That game ended in a draw. Nobody scored anything. The first game without scoring since August, basically, for Chelsea. Chelsea's story is very, very simple. Um, Even though they walked away with a draw, it's 1 point. It's not that bad. It's not a loss. It's a drop in points, yes, but it's not a loss. Um, First time they actually failed to score since August, so that actually shows you what attacking power they have. They had around 58% possession. They had 12 shots, but only three on target. That conversion is very, very poor. In order for them to actually get the goals, they need to get more shots on target. Under Maresca, their general trend this season has been the following, gentlemen. They had a good XG in numbers. They just have very bad finishing. Good goal XG, but very bad finishing. They have a solid structure, but creatively, they actually over reliant on Estevao. It's like everyone says, you know what, pass the ball wide. That guy is gonna be there. He's going to bring the magic. He's gonna bring the flair. He's gonna either square the ball into the box or he's gonna score. So yeah, they must stop depending on that boy. They have other players that is also in the team. And one thing that I do know is that if you over depend or rely on one player and that player gets injured, like look at Palmer, then it's problems. Thibaut, tactically, what do you think?
Yeah, before I get there, Van Roy, I just want to know, is it wrong to depend on a guy like Estevao? Like for
It
his
is
teammates when they don't have solutions to give the ball to him. Is it
it is
wrong? Is
not
it wrong for
wrong.
them to do that?
It's not wrong to do that, but if you do that too much, it becomes a problem because that boy needs to run a whole 90 minutes. Yes, he is still young, his engine is still fresh, but injuries can creep in, and it doesn't go with age. It can happen to anybody. Then what happens if he gets injured? Palmer is also not playing. Then what? You get me? I just feel other people need to step up to the plate as well. They need to play as a unit
Yeah.
and collectively get the win. That's just
Yeah,
my
well,
two
look,
cents.
Bournemouth, they set up their stall with a 5-4-1 formation. You see, they basically wanted a compact, clean game where they forced Chelsea out wide and they make sure that they beat them in the air. Now, Chelsea's issue. The strikers' movement, I don't think, is really sharp enough, ne? And the midfielders, well, the midfield runners are not arriving in the box quick enough. They were very slow. They were almost predictable, especially in crossing situations. I think the only positive that can be taken from this is the clean sheet. But the negative is that the feeling is that when the star boys are contained, there is no second plan. And this is very surprising and somewhat peculiar for me because I've seen Enzo Maresca employ different let's say tactics where for example he will use a guy like Enzo in the number 10 position and
Well,
he will relinquish the other guys by playing them all on the wings, so definitely Van Roy, you have a point there that the other guys they need to step up, but if you are a star player you must also produce the goods.
yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. It's 100% that you said that they had no other plan, but yeah. We move on to City. City faced Sunderland at home. City actually came off with a win. I'm not sure if it was last week or week before I said City is starting to get a brilliance back. If you look at it, they won 3-0 against a very tough team like Sunderland. Diaz stepped up, Vardio stepped up, Foden stepped up. It's a job well done to them. Just to add on to that game, City won that match fair and square. Goals from those three people that I just mentioned. They had 73% in possession. They had 19 shots, of which 8 of them were on target. And if you look at it, the conversion there, 19 shots, 18 on target, it's just under 50%. So it's quite good. It's closer, but yeah, they
Ah,
can
it's
still
not
do
good, Van
better.
Roy. Aye, 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 aye.
It is
It's not good,
closer,
Van
like I
Roy.
said, it is closer, but they can do better. If you compare it to other matches, like Arsenal, if you look at their total shots and versus the shots on target, City actually had more. Sunderland had
Arsenal have no experience of winning anything, Lani. So I don't think you're using the right club as for your example.
it's your champions elect. Akiri, you said, yeah, they're undefeated. Yeah,
But they were.
yeah,
Was I
they were.
lying? They were.
They were. Yeah, but let's just go on. Sunderland, on the other hand, they had very, very little shots. They only had maybe like 2 shots on target. And you're not going to come into a game at Etihad and just get 2 shots on target. You're not going to get past everyone. And if you do get to the goalkeeper, they have a very good goalkeeper. So, City, they remain second on the table. They are 5 points behind Arsenal. Arsenal is starting to bottle things. Yeah, I can't wait to see how that is going to pan out. But this win stabilizes them after some turbulence that they had. Like I said in previous weeks, it's beginning to show that they have that little brilliance, Nyana. But yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen moving forward.
Yeah, gents, City's hallmark here was varied sources of goals. Ruben Diaz, imagine Ruben Diaz, a player that is slighted so much by the Manchester City faithful, scoring from range. Vardiol, scoring from a set piece, showing his brilliance once again. Because I
Yeah.
think for the last year or so, he kind of disappeared. And Phil Foden from open play. Hey, Phil Foden, since he played that assist for Bereche Eze with the English national side, yeah, he's really been in a purple patch. That makes them a hard game plan against. Sunderland, they tried to press high early on in the game, but once City settled into the game, they broke their first wave easily, and it became one-way traffic from there.
Your movie selling, bro.
How's my Mobicel in fit?
Your
Because
movie
after
sell is
that we
movie.
saw Liverpool
Roy,
throwing Leeds
I
United
think
once again.
is it also cutting there, Roy?
on my side it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything is fine, Libs.
I think that was just a moment of silence for
Oh.
Liverpool because they didn't win.
Yeah, Fandroy, the writing is on the wall.
Timo, are you able to share the picture that I put there?
Which one? Oh, this one.
That I put there. Yeah, yes.
Sure.
So now, obviously,
So where's
we
Liverpool?
move to Ellen Road. We'll move to the chaos where Leeds 3, Liverpool 3, slots Liverpool, more drama, less control. It's like one of those shows, the Housewives of Miami or something, because Beyonce is leading the rot. Roy.
Yeah, and yeah, that was very disappointing for me. After we went 2-0 up, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get those guys on Monday. I have this in a bag. That would have completed my weekend. Actually, my weekend would have been so perfect. Yeah, but hey, just to give you guys context, it was a draw, a 3-3 draw. Leeds played exceptional football. Just to give you guys some context, Salah started on the bench. He didn't he didn't manage to get any game time. Liverpool could have gone fifth with that win. But yeah, we stay there. I think, yeah, I don't even want to look at it. For
Elebza.
real, it's
But
painful.
wait,
Kubuhlungu, it's painful.
before you go anywhere, what? Yeah,
Times have changed, eh? From Liverpool fighting to be
eh,
number one to Liverpool
Yo,
fighting to be fifth. Hey, times have changed.
yo. Bro, they're not
yeah,
even in
this
the top 7 on the picture that you showed. They're not even there on the top 7.
it
Bruh.
hurts.
That's why I said to you. That's why I said to you, where is Liverpool?
Ah,
And
we'll get
Liverpool
there.
is not even showing at all. Everton, with the guy with the biggest calves in the world, is there at number 6. Even Crystal Palace is also there. Well, Villa, we expect it to be there. No, 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 no.
I just want to add this, ne? Looking at this table the way it is, I think everyone that is there in the top 7 deserves to be there. All of those teams have played exceptional football. They make mistakes here and there, but they deserve to be there.
Yeah. Fandroy, it's too early for excuses, bruh. Let's just
I'm not
carry on,
making
bruh.
excuses. I know that Liverpool is playing cuck, and just to give you
They
something
deserve to
based
be
on
there. Yeah, Lebza.
Yeah, we're going to win the league.
Yeah, we not. We can forget about it. I'm not like one of those guys that believes until the end. I know for a fact comes game week 15 and we are not somewhere at the top. Forget it, Baba. My hopes and dreams of winning the title and lifting and retaining is gone. It is
Back to
gone.
default settings.
Yeah, back to default settings.
We
That
won't need
1990
banana fight
something.
here.
Oh, they took slot just takes us back. But to give you guys context based on stats in that game, um, Leeds had 14 shots. We had actually 11 shots. Both sides with multiple big chances. It was a box to box game. It was nice. That's what I expected. I knew that it wasn't gonna be easy. I knew that there was gonna be drama. Tanaka actually equalized in the 96th minute. That is quite good for a player of his stature. Liverpool have now dropped points in three of their last four league games, which is very disappointing for me. I don't want to lie. I felt like, you know what, these people just don't want to see me happy. They conceded 8 goals in that stretch. That is quite a lot. It shows that defensively, it's showing a downward trend, and I don't know. There's just a lot of things happening. Did you guys see Mo Salah's interview after that match?
Hey, yeah, that was blockbuster shit, eh? I
Oh,
like that interview.
yeah, he just spoke his mind. But I'm actually glad he did. He's quite brave to do that. For a person like him, he's very very shy and to himself, and he actually spoke up for himself. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, but
So you
gentlemen, you
think
know
it's a
what I
good thing
think?
that he
I
spoke
think this
up?
game.
Do I
Pardon?
think?
You think it's good that Salah spoke up?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because also to keep quiet, it becomes it creates chaos from the inside, bruh. You it will hurt you. I
But
think
now,
it's a good
didn't he
thing.
hurt the team more?
I think the team must break in order for them to repair. Everything is already everywhere. It's broken. It's laying pieces. Glass pieces are everywhere. I think it's better to take something apart, ne? And then put it back together. And I don't know if it's a Chinese proverb or Japanese proverb where they say, once you break something, they in China, they put you back together with pieces of gold. So yeah,
Yes,
that's what
to
I
show you
believe.
that there's a learning.
Yeah,
Van Roy, you
sure.
won the Premier League last season. Why you wanna
Yeah,
dismantle everything?
because everything is already broken from the start. They let players go too soon. They let a lot of people go on loan. Even the youngsters, they played a pivotal role when the big guys, some of the guys got injured. They actually put them on loan. So why would you want to
Harvey
do? I
Elliott.
will, I will keep exactly, my friend. I will keep the
Are you crying
boys.
about Harvey Elliott?
Not only him, there's other youngsters as well. It's not only Harvey Elliott, bruh. Simikas. What about Simikas? He also played a role
Curtis
in
Jones.
yeah.
Are you crying about Curtis Jones?
No, Curtis Jones is there. He is there. There is Simikas that actually left. Ne? I don't know if it
Hey,
was on
listen,
loan, but he
gentlemen.
left Roma.
Me, I don't know about y'all. Ne?
Hey, it's
Was
freezing.
Timikas even challenging Robertson?
All right, hey Tibo, let's
Can you
let's
hear
go to
me?
La Liga. Let's go to La Liga where we get a lot of shocks, goals, and pressure. Tibo, you can put up that screen that I shared yet again, and then it can take us to the La Liga stats for now. But when we start, Roy, can you start us off there on La Liga, brother?
Okay, coming right at you, we had Villarreal faced Getafe at home. Villarreal actually won that match. It was a 2-0 victory. Um, so 2-0 at home, it's quite a good result. They had a home fans behind them. We had goals from two gentlemen. They kept a clean sheet. The two guys that actually scored is what is their names?
Mikautadze and Buchanan.
And who?
Mikautadze and Buchanan.
Yeah, those are the. I'm sorry, I'm not good with names. especially if it's Spanish or Italian. But yeah, they kept the pressure on the top two. They have now won four in the last five league games. This is Villarreal. They actually played very well, showing that, you know what, Madrid, we are right behind you, and if you slip up, we're gonna take that second place. Thibaut?
Yeah, Villarreal, they constantly looked like they were going to increase the tempo with their vertical shape. Listen, they press in moments and then immediately look to break the lines. This Villarreal side, I think, was set up perfectly against this Getafe side, and it's a good 3 points from them.
Yep, the next one is Barca versus Real Betis. As you can see on the graphic right now, Barca is on top and Real Madrid is where they belong. So this game was a movie, man. Why would I say that? Because Betis scored 3 after Barca had gotten to a 5-1 lead. So Ferran, with his first half hat trick. So imagine, before the first half was done, we were back on top before we actually went into the break. Barca conceding, but as I told Thibaut and Roy the other time, that we were still going to do the same thing to Chelsea. They would have scored the one. We are used to people scoring us one, and then we steamroll them because we let them believe that they are safe. So Chelsea, it was going to be the same thing. They were going to say the bat, Araujo had to do something. But anyway, good match. Roy.
Yeah, indeed, it was a very, very good match. I was sitting here with Vertu and we actually watched it on his phone while watching my team draw on the other hand. But yeah, Barcelona still on top of La Liga after this. It was a thumping game. It was very exciting. They scored 5 goals. They conceded 3. In their last 5 league matches, they have now scored 15 goals. That is in 5 matches. So they prove that, you know what, we have the attacking power, but I believe that defensively there's still some work to be done. And like you say, that hat-trick from Ferran Torres was very, very huge. He now moves into double figures based on goals for this season. Thibaut, I just want to ask you, how does it feel to trail behind Barcelona on the La Liga table?
Mm.
I don't feel any way different than I was before. It's
It's
all the
painful.
same for me. You
Ow.
know, that's the last thing that it is.
Mm. You need those losing glasses, bruh. Here they are. Gonna borrow them to you. You know.
Yeah, you know what? Barcelona are embracing the chaos, gentlemen. From a tactical standpoint, the front line was very fluid. The full backs were high up the pitch, and the midfielders they were taking every inch of grass on the pitch. It produced lots of goals, but it also exposed the back line. But I think the back line has been an ongoing issue. I think for the entirety of the season, they got away with it because Betis sustained a momentum, but by then it was too late for them. Overall, I think Ferran Torres, this game, I think he really put up his hand. I think he deserves more respect. I think if you're Hansi Flick, this is a nice problem to have because once you get a fully fit Robert Lewandowski and a Ferran Torres firing on all cylinders like this, you're going to have a nice headache deciding who should actually start up front.
Roy, Athletic Club and Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, just to try and speak Spanish, Athletic Club faced Atletico de Madrid, like people would say it.
Mm-hmm.
Athletic Club actually came off for the win, scraping a 1-0 win over Atletico Madrid. Atleti now drop more points in the title race, which is going to cost them in the long run. They've now lost 2 in the last 4 league games. They remain in the top 4, but if they don't catch up, they're going to slip up. But the gap between them to Barca is actually widening, and yeah, it proves to be a concern. They need to make sure that they win games.
Yeah, this Atletico Madrid side, they disappear in big games. The only time they actually come alive is if they're playing Real Madrid. And it makes you wonder what's actually causing them to fall into this somewhat conservative shell because they didn't press aggressively, and they were relying on moments rather than trying to control the game for sustained periods. Alex Berenguer's late winner is the punishment of not killing the game off earlier.
Well, my favorite game of the weekend, Celta de Vigo took on Real Madrid. Any prop, any flop will come from this match right here because this is the headline in Spain. Real Madrid at home in their rice cooking new Bernabeu, right? So,
Yeah,
how did they lose 2-0 to Celta? Two goals. First of all, Swedberg did a nice back heel, man. I'm telling you, even Courtois was Courtois unawares. Two red cards for Real Madrid so that they can blame it on something, but really, there is issues there at home. And suddenly, they are 4 points behind Barca. What
yeah,
happened? What
it's
happened?
quite, it's quite painful, to lose at home. I know what it feels like. So yeah, I you must just take it on the chin, Thibaut. Um, and yeah, we move on. In the last three league games, this is Madrid. They have actually won nothing. They come in with two draws and one loss. So yeah, it's quite a concern. They've only scored two goals in net stretch, conceded four. Would you say that this is a crisis by their standards, Thibaut?
Yeah, I think I've said this many times before that
Mm.
the Xabi Alonso
Don't
experiment
Not
cry.
is
a man.
probably not giving the desired effect or the desired results. For
Mm.
Xabi Alonso, this is the first time his team actually looked mentally rattled. There was poor discipline. The players were losing emotional control. The structure, was breaking when we were chasing the game. But without making any excuses, I think the referee was poor because some of the challenges that the Celta de Vigo players were getting away with were very atrocious. There was even one challenge on Jude Bellingham by Celta de Vigo striker Borja Iglesias, where he actually injured Jude Bellingham gravely. He cut him right
Jesus.
above his eye and he bled like a stuck pig. But as usual in La Liga, the opposition when they're playing against Real Madrid, they won't get reprimanded for anything. But overall, I think kudos needs to go to Celta de Vigo, especially Willard Swinberg, because I think the goals that he scored, especially the first one, those goals were nothing but pure class. Celta de Vigo played like a team with nothing to lose and everything to gain. They were brave in their pressing and they were aggressive in their duels. Real Madrid, they looked heavy, they looked lethargic, they looked like they had no ideas. And again, Arda Güler was in the pitch or when he started the game, and the team, they looked disjointed.
All right. Well, Timo, I apologize, man. Really, really hurtful,
It
to have a
hurts.
friend so sad in the beginning of the week. But we're going to jump straight to move to your favorite league so that it brings back your spirits, so you can light up like the
And the
Christmas
smile.
light. So, Roy, take us to the first one.
So we in Serie A we had Hellas Verona face Atalanta at home. That match ended in a 3-1 win for Verona. It's their first win of the season against an informed team like Atalanta, so it's quite good. Verona first league win of the season, and they do it against one of the sides that are very very good in attack, and they actually inform in this season. Atalanta came off of a UCL win, a league victory, and this is a classic letdown spot.
Yeah,
Thibaut?
Hellas Verona, they played with pure desperation. They were compact, they were aggressive, and they had a lot of bodies running or sprinting into the box. Atalanta didn't manage the transitions at all, and they paid the ultimate price for this. All in all, Hellas Verona, they looked like they wanted the result more, and they went home or they stayed at home with all 3 points.
Yeah, and
Mm.
they actually paid the price. They actually paid for it. Moving on, we had Inter at home that faced Como. Inter actually scored 4 goals with no reply from the other team. So we had goals from Lautaro. We had goals from a goal from sorry Turam, and Carlos Augusto. And there's another guy with a
Mm.
very funny name.
It's Hakan
Tibo's
Chananoglu.
That's the Tibo stuff, the spaghetti people. Yeah, so they actually kept a clean sheet,
He's
which
Turkish,
was
bruh.
very, eh?
He's Turkish.
It's Turkish.
Yeah.
And that
You know,
shows you, I need to learn more languages. I only know English, Afrikaans, Zulu, and a bit of Sutu, and that's it, my friend. Yeah, so just moving on, they kept a clean sheet in that match. They briefly went to the top of the table. With this result, Inter's attack is extremely well balanced. Lautaro in double figures for this season. Churam contributing to goals and assists. And they basically control the tempo. They had set pieces, they took their chances, and it actually paid off. Thibaut?
yeah, this is the difference between a grown title challenger and a rising project like Como. Listen, the Inter players, they have like different layers. There's positional play, there's counter pressing, and also those set piece threats. But also experience. Como under Cesc Fabregas, it's a wonderful fairy tale story. But at the end, this is the level they're still growing towards, and I think this baptism of fire, they will take stock of this and maybe try and remedy what did not work.
Oh yeah, we get to Cagliari with Roma. Roma, another big game failure, second defeat in a row. This time at Cagliari, a red card for Celik and a late winner for Gaetano. And now questions everywhere. Who's gonna be kept in this summer? I mean, this winter break, and who is going to stay? Roy.
Yeah, just to add on Roma's side, Roma have now lost back-to-back lead games. They dropped out of the top spots that they actually had. They dropped out from there. They already had a negative record in big games, and this really just reinforces the pattern. Thibaut?
Yeah, for Giampiero Gasperini, the issue is very clear. The high defensive line that they're employing is just not working. And it's aging and it's taking its toll, I think, on these slow defenders. The midfield, it's sometimes too disconnected from the attack. And when they go a goal down, the whole structure just collapses and it becomes a chaotic type of football. I think Cagliari, they smelt the vulnerability and went for it, and this is what desperate teams do. And kudos to them. They got all 3 points at home.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
like
then
a shark in
Roy.
water, eh?
Yeah, Roy. Your
Yeah,
favorite player, Scott McTominay, and
yeah.
was doing well versus Juventus. And Thibaut, do you know that Juventus actually dipped because of Ronaldo? Because they spent 100 million on him instead of buying more players with that 100 million, maybe 3 or 4 players, and actually then going to challenge for the Champions League. So Ronaldo was the downfall of Juventus. Anyway, Roy, take it over.
Yeah, yeah. So Napoli, look at Thibaut. Napoli faced Juve at home. Napoli came off for the win. It was a 2-1 win for them. So Rasmus Holland scored a brace. Champions are back on top, man. What can I say? Napoli coming into that game, back to the top of Serie A for them. Rasmus Holland with a brace, he actually played very well, getting 2 goals. It would be nice to see him get a hat trick. Juve have now trail behind by 8 points, and that is massive. If you look at them fighting or challenging for the title, it is quite massive. In their last 5 league matches, Napoli have won 4. They've drawn 1. They scored 11 goals and they only conceded 4. Thibaut?
Yeah, Antonio Conte's Napoli look like a machine all over again. The aggressive pressing game is back. The verticality in their attacks is also find a way to research in this group of players that he has. And there's a clear reference point in Rasmus Højlund up front. I think since making the move to Naples, he's really found his feet and hit the ground running, so to speak. Luciano Spalletti's Juventus are still in the early phase of their transformation. He's gone on so many games unbeaten, but they fell to the sword against this very good Napoli side. Good structure is there, but there's not enough punch in the final third for this Juve side, and they switch off under sustained pressure. So I think there's some things that maybe Spalletti will need to maybe work on during the week in training.
Thibaut, please
Near
show the league standings there in
League
Serie
One.
A quickly.
Um,
Yeah, let's see quickly here. So Napoli is currently 1 point ahead. So meaning, you know what, if Inter really wanted, they can definitely still take over. So do you see the other Milan getting in there, Thibaut?
Sorry, would you mind repeating that question again?
Do you see the other Milan getting into the title race?
They're in the title race, né? But I don't see them going the distance. I think it's wonderful that they brought on this Luka Modric, who's been maybe their best player since the beginning of the campaign. But just looking at the squad, the manner in which it is right now, I can see them in the mix to challenge for top honors, but I don't see them going all the way unless they make a couple of January signings, that will just bolster the squad. I don't see them being there in the penultimate stages.
But they're not losing. They're actually just drawing. Like they've got 4 draws instead of 4 losses.
You know what the thing is, ne? Their manager, Massimiliano Allegri, and he's a somewhat pragmatic guy. Ne? If he can get a 1-goal lead, he will set up his team in such a way that they choke the life out of the game and ensure that they keep that 1-0 win. You see, but up front they actually don't have a lethal number 9. You see, they have Santiago Jimenez, the Mexican with a punchy left foot, but I don't think he has acclimatized or maybe settled into this group. So maybe if they can get a number 9 in the January transfer window, even if it's maybe someone who will come in on loan, then maybe that will make a major difference. But in the here and now, I really cannot see them going all the way because they don't have a recognized serial killer of a number 9.
okay. Now I get you.
No, nice. All right, Roy.
I get you. And we move on to League One. The title race actually heats up over here. We McDonald's League. We actually had Lille that faced Marseille. Ethan Mbappe's winner. Lille moves to within 2 points of the summit. They are level on points with Marseille now. Both are chasing Lens and PSG, which are ahead of them. Ethan Mbappe scoring the winner is quite big. It shows that he's getting into what's this, the third gear. Psychologically, it gives Lil a new talisman figure. Do you guys think that that they can depend on him for more goals? Thibaut, what do you think?
Yeah, well, where Ethan Mbappe is concerned, I think the ceiling is wide open for him. But the jury is still out. I don't think he's produced performances like that frequently enough for us to actually start having those types of conversations. On one end of the scale as well, I think I'd like to mention that this Olympique de Marseille side, they look like they're in a mini slump. 2 games without a win. The attack, it looks blunt. And I don't know, man. In this particular regard, the talisman has been Mason Greenwood. So obviously, if he doesn't show up in these games, I think they almost look lost and maybe a wee bit lethargic.
Oh yeah, then we move into Brest versus Monaco. So now look, Monaco are actually in a crisis. Another defeat, another missed opportunity. What's going on?
Yeah. I think without Ansu Fati and without Pogba, Pogba not being in form, I think Monaco looks toothless. They lack aggression. They can't bite. This is now multiple games in a row that they have underperformed. Chibo?
Yeah, I don't know about you, gents, but for me, if I just look at the quality that's available for the Monaco manager, I think he should be definitely getting a different tune out of this group by now. There's so much quality in this group. It's actually overflowing, and I actually think that since the beginning of the season, I think the coach really, he hasn't found a balance. He hasn't found a way to maybe convey his message to the players. And I don't know if the management or the board will want to consider maybe reevaluating whether they need this manager or not. But for me, just looking at the quality of players that are in this group, without even putting Paul Pogba into the equation, because he only
Mm.
just came back like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think this team is very much underwhelming, and I think the only thing they can look to now is maybe a change in the managerial position.
Okay, so you think there's a recruitment issue there?
No, I think the recruitment is fine. I think the people who are trusted or vested to take this team forward are the wrong guys. I
Okay.
think I think Monaco have all the talent to challenge this PSG squad, and maybe this Marseille squad. I think this Monaco side, they can at least finish, if not in the third or maybe in the second spot. But obviously, they need to get the results. And again,
Yeah.
if I look at the quality that's in the squad, those individuals alone, for me, it just doesn't make sense why they are getting these sorts of results.
Results. Okay, no stress. Yeah, then we move on. We had PSG that actually faced Rennes at home. PSG actually came off with a win. It was a big, big win. 5-0 win at home. Back within 1 point from Lens at the top. They bounced back perfectly after their last loss. Thibaut?
Yeah, listen, this is Luis Enrique at his best. His team are pressing high, they are aggressive, and they don't let the defense rest. And there's constant overloads in the wide channels, and you really cannot pinpoint the guys who are playing in the front three. Once Stade Rene went down to 10 men, it became a training match drill.
Yeah, yeah, true. True. We also had Nantes versus Lens. Nantes was at home. They actually succumbed to a loss. It was a win for Lens. They won 2-1. Lens, fifth consecutive win for them. Very impressive. Still top of the log. They're building a title winning team, and they have title winning mentality and habits. They're grinding out results even when they're not at their best.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Oh
true.
yeah. We come into the Bundesliga where goals are everywhere. I wonder if Messi played in the Bundesliga. He'd probably have scored 100
2 million.
goals a calendar year every year. But anyway, um, upset alert because Leverkusen, who lost their manager, who's currently at Real Madrid, who's losing matches, who probably wishes he stayed there, lost to relegation partners Augsburg 2-0. That's a punch of the jaw, right, Roy?
Yeah, and they have to take it like on the chin and just move on. So yeah, in the last three league matches, Leverkusen have now only picked up one win, which is very disappointing. Their early season dominance has flattened out. They are completely flat. It's like a Coke Zero, Coke without gas. Augsburg, meanwhile, they get a huge morale boost based off that win. Thibaut?
Yeah, Augsburg were very aggressive and direct, and they played to Leverkusen's weaknesses. There were spaces in behind the fullbacks, and they took them to the cleaners. Listen, this group, they're starting to look readable, and I think they're running out of ideas. Yes, maybe they made that change from Eric Ten Hag at the beginning of the season. But again, with the group of players that are in this squad, I think the rest of us can be forgiven for expecting much, much more from this group.
Yeah, near true. Moving on, we
Another
have
5-0 win by Bayern,
yeah,
Roy.
man. Stuttgart faced Bayern at home. They lost that game in 5-0. Bayern was, that German machine just kept on rolling. Kane had a hat trick. Uh, Laimer and Stanisic, they also got onto the score sheet, which is quite good. That's 11 goals in their last two league games, which means that they score 5+ goals in every single match. Thibaut?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you one thing about this Bayern side, Van Roy. When they smell blood, when they smell blood in the water, they become ruthless. They are
Shark.
calculated, they are efficient, and Harry Kane, he's transformed into a monster since coming to the mountains of Bavaria. He's almost unplayable when he is in full flight.
Yeah, and yeah, that was a very, very exciting watch. And we also had RB Leipzig that faced Frankfurt. Leipzig actually won that match 6-0. No reply from Frankfurt at all. Um, they had second half hat trick from a guy named Jan Diomande, and a perfect home record was maintained. They actually were clinical. Entrex and unbeaten run ends right there. It was in a brutal fashion. They didn't hold no prisoners. They made sure they slaughtered them.
Yo, I know, definitely. No, this RB Leipzig's pressing game, yo, it really suffocates the life out of the opposition. If your build up is not immaculate, you will get destroyed by them. Plain and simple. And I don't know what's happening to Eintracht Frankfurt. They've been conceding like 5 goals or so per game in the Champions League, but now that form is spilling over into the Bundesliga. I don't know if they also need to start asking each other serious questions there.
Yeah, they actually should, because that's huge. It's enough that they are losing, but the fashion in which they are losing is becoming, yeah, it's becoming a problem. So we
It's
also
too
have,
much.
yeah, it's too much. Young
It's
shit
too
Mhm.
much.
Stella. Yeah. We also had Dortmund that faced Hoffenheim at home. Dortmund had a 2-0 win, goals from Brandt and Schlotterbeck, and they actually ended Hoffenheim's 6-game unbeaten run.
Yeah, listen, the more balanced performance from from Dortmund, excuse me. Listen, there was structure first and flair second, and that's how you need to play if you want to stay in the top four. They did
Sure.
everything in a professional manner. Kudos to them. 2 goals, clean sheet, 3 points in the bag. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
They might not have Schlotterbeck after January because Barca might buy him to replace Arajo. Anyway,
Yeah.
we get to the prop of the week. Let's give these guys flowers where it's due. First of all, is it, let me start with you, Thibaut, Barcelona, who ran through Betis like a hot knife through butter? Or is it Bayern, who put 5 that anybody would put 5 through Stuttgart? Title statement. Or is it Napoli, who pipped Juventus to stay top? Hoyland brace and Conte, ball is rolling. Who is yours? Barcelona, Bayern, or Napoli?
This one I'm solely going for Barcelona because of Ferran Torres. I've been following Ferran Torres ever since he was a Valencia striker, right? And when he made his move to Manchester City, I was very disappointed because I always felt like he was a player that could thrive and become a monster in La Liga. It's taken a minute, but I don't know this form or this momentum that he finds himself in. I wish he can maintain this form throughout the whole season because all the goals that he scored over the weekend in that brilliant hat trick, all of them were beautiful. Every single one of them. So my prop of the week is definitely going to Barcelona only because of Ferran Torres.
Do you know that Ferran Torres is the reason we lost against Chelsea? He missed the sitter at 0-0. Anyway, Roy,
No,
Barcelona.
you lost to Chelsea. You lost to Chelsea because your team was not set up correctly. You lost to Chelsea because you had a shit defender.
Yeah,
But as
that's
you
the.
know,
And yours, Roy?
I also give it to Barcelona purely because they have they are mentality monsters basically. They make sure that it's going to be an entertaining game. They actually won that game fair and square. I'm glad that Thibaut didn't bring in any referees or envelopes or. But yeah, I give it to Barcelona.
Hey Roy,
Yeah,
get
bro.
off his you know what, man.
And you, Lebza, who do you give the prop of the week to?
My prop of the week it definitely goes to Barcelona because I watched the full match and I
Lebza
just
is frozen.
Yeah, is movie
and
selling.
yeah, am I frozen again?
Serious,
Still,
serious.
Oh, I
Like
look like I'm chilling.
you should see the still image, Baba. Pistol
yeah,
Mozolo, Baba. Can
You
you see
think
it,
I'm
one Roy?
sleeping?
yeah,
No, not sleeping. More like you look
it's like,
like a bouncer. You know, a
yeah,
bouncer when the Kabza the small is walking into the venue and they're like, hey, don't touch him.
Am I not moving still?
no,
Okay.
frozen.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's you to go, bro. My prop of the week is Barcelona because obviously I just saw how they took apart this team. But yeah, you can go ahead, Thibaut.
All right, our candidates for the flop of the week, gentlemen, we're kicking it off again with Liverpool and the Mohamed Salah situation. He's benched. They're drawing 3-3 in crazy games. The structure is gone. Is the dressing room gone? It is yet to be seen. Secondly, we have Xabi Alonso and losing at the Santiago Bernabeu, getting humbled by a Celta de Vigo side who basically walked the two goals into the net. Two red cards, 4 points off Barca. What's going to happen now? And lastly, Monaco. Monaco are in crisis mode, gentlemen. In all competitions, they just don't seem to be cutting the mustard. They are far off the podium. Gentlemen, let's take stock. Lebza, who's your flop of the week?
He actually left so that he can re-enter because he was still
Oh,
frozen.
he left the Matrix. Okay.
Me,
Yeah,
enter me. Yes,
guys
there
plugged
am,
in
there am,
again.
there am, there am. So look, for me, my flop of the week is definitely Salah's comment. You do that, you hurt the whole team, dog. You know, if you're having fights with the coach, go speak to the coach. You're having fights with the board, go speak with the board. Especially your Salah. You've been there so long, you probably know the board by name. You're not a new kid, who just arrived like Etikite, who probably doesn't know who to speak to. So he's ruining the mood. The mood is now going to be sour because, first of all, either he's a shit stirrer, meaning others that are easily convinced are going to get what? Get influenced. And now they're also going to start seeing Slot as like, this one, he doesn't understand football. You see? Or then the opposite of that is that the ones that are not shit stirrers are going to go ahead and be angry at Salah and say, why do you want to be more
Why
important
do?
than us? Because they are putting me in, you are angry. Because you are benched, you are angry. But you're not scoring. Why are you angry? So it's a double-edged sword. There's no way you can come out of this nicely. Because even when Slot plays him and he doesn't score, Slot's gonna be justified. Do you see? I wasted a player. So yeah, Liverpool. Sorry for the long message. Thibaut, who do you select?
My flop of the week. That shit's
Yeah.
crazy, eh? But it's definitely Xabi Alonso for me. Aye.
Yeah,
If we don't win against Manchester City in the Champions League, if
we
we
gotta
don't
go.
win against Manchester City in the Champions League, Xabi Alonso must go.
You won't win. So clearly he's gonna go then. Clearly
Yeah,
he's
I know
going.
you're gonna ghost me. I know you're gonna ghost me when you lose.
No, no, me, I face my losses up front because I know that victory is also around the corner. Every uphill has a downhill.
Downhill. Hmm. Yeah, on
And
my
for you,
Get
side,
off
Roy,
his dick, Roy.
on my side, also give it to Xabi Alonso. I think they could have done better. They're actually dropping the ball and they're giving Barca free reign. And if they continue this way, the gap is going to be very, very wide.
If you
The
continue
gap
this
is
way,
wide
Liverpool
already.
will lose more
Pause.
games, Van Roy. If you
Yeah.
continue this way, Liverpool will lose more games, Van Roy.
Uh, it's
Well,
it's
as we close it off, look, Pirates are lifting cups. Chiefs are dominating without scoring. Arsenal are stumbling. Madrid are humbled. Bayern are raging, but obviously it's in the Bundesliga, so are they really raging? PSG are roaring, and also that's also in, the League One. So are they really roaring, or maybe they're just a small little cat when they play against Real Madrid? Leipzig are battering everyone. Football, I can guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, is a soapy, and we are here to narrate every episode. Tibo.
If you're a manager, you're in trouble. Fix your structure before you fix your Instagram.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, that the log table never lies. It just takes a bit of time to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Oh, yeah, like in La Liga. Now the truth is clear for us to see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Let's Argue. Same time, same place. Next episode. Good night.
Like, Shom Zanzi, Sharp